What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another podcast. Today, I have with me
Yes,
Owen Zink,
sir.
who has been inside of Empire Blueprints for quite a long time, and he just hit his first $10,000 month. He is joining all of the other people that I've done podcasts with that have hit that financial goal. And Owen is a fitness coach. He's been a fitness coach for a while, but how long has it been since you joined Empire Blueprint, Owen, just to kind of give everybody an idea of how difficult it's been and how hard you've been working?
Yeah, so I originally joined on in the end of October of actually 2025. So it's been quite a
Mm-hmm.
while, but I just dealt with probably like some of the worst health issues I've ever, no, honestly, the worst health issues that I ever have honestly experienced personally for that October through December mark. So I like
Mm-hmm.
barely logged in. I could barely leave bed. Like I was bed rested for a while. Just horrible health to not use Empire the way that I wanted to. So
Mm-hmm.
I would, if we're going off of pure statistics and pure timelines, I did join in October 25, but I only started using it in literally January 1st of this year. So right at the new year, I got better and then I used it in full.
Yep. And that is exactly what I wanted to discuss on this call is I wanted to go into some of the health issues that you've actually had and the things that you've persevered through because let's be honest, that's what everybody wants to hear. That's why most people don't make it to be in the seat that you're sitting in right now. Like only a small percentage of the total people that even join Empire Blueprint actually end up making it to the point where they're making $10,000 per month. And you've done it. And then just recently, in the past week, I believe you closed
Yeah,
something like
I'm
six to
at
eight thousand
nine.
dollars or so.
Yeah, I'm at it's actually more now. I hit 9K in 10 days this month. So we are
Wow,
blessed right now.
9K in 10 days this
Yeah,
month
it's
so far.
crazy.
So you're going to be well past $10,000 this upcoming month. Things are really, really
Yeah.
picking up. But dude, I've seen it time and time and again where fitness coaches come in and they run into some sort of health problem or they run into some sort of family issues and it throws them off. This is their goal. This is what they've been striving for. It's what they know that they want to do, but they just can't maintain that level of consistency for a long enough period to actually become successful with it. What was the health issue that you ran into? If you could, if you're open with sharing, I want you to talk about that a little bit and just where your head was at going through all of those struggles while trying to get this business up and running.
Yeah, absolutely. So it wasn't just one health issue. It was around 3 to 4 all in the period of one singular time. Like
Hmm.
they all of them hit me in a matter of a week from each other. So this all started back in probably February of 2025. It was just a random day. And I was dealing with some stomach issues. I didn't really think it was anything like maybe I had something bad or whatever. But from 2025 all the way up until, well, honestly, now I started to get some relief. So I've been probably about maybe 60% even at my highest month so far. I haven't been 100% probably since maybe later 2024, early 2025 during this time period. Um, so just all of a sudden, my stomach just became widely distended. I was like literally abnormally pregnant looking for
Hmm.
probably 11 to 12 months, almost a year of my entire life, regardless of how lean I was, regardless of my physical activity. I had a distended abdomen for months and months on end. I didn't have solid stool for probably 11 months.
Hmm.
It was straight liquid. It was just severe gut microbiome dysfunction. Years of
Wow.
antibiotic use. I got H. pylori like 2 to 3 times in a span of a couple of months.
Wow.
Colonoscopy, endoscopies. Like I just, I spent like to 7 different specialists. Then I had a holistic practitioner that didn't do me right. Like I probably went through maybe 10 different primary cares of just overall health for my stomach. Then I didn't think it was my stomach. I thought it might have been structural. So I went to a chiropractor, and I had very, very severe anterior pelvic tilt from an injury that I
Mhm.
had in my freshman year of college in 2021. My
Mhm.
right pelvis was severely shifted upright, so I would walk funny, and it would cause me then forward posture. This forward posture, because of my mouth breathing, I don't have my nose strip on today, but because of my forward posture due to this tilt, my and my improper breathing, my diaphragm has been stuck upwards, and my ribs have been out of line, and I've been stuck in pretty much rib flare for the last year or so. So
Wow.
imagine just your stomach is extremely pregnant and distended the entire time. You can't process food. You walk funny because your hips and pelvis are all out of place. You can't breathe properly because your ribs are just, my ribs are like upwards to the right from the pelvis, so
Mhm.
they're opposite of the pelvis. So everything structurally is just in line. So much so where my obliques actually flare outwards and my abdomen descends inwards. And instead of like the washboard abs that I was known for in college, my abs actually come inside, and my stomach like almost like kind of flexes inward on itself. So
Hmm.
everything about me structurally as a human, from my gut health to my posture to my ability to perform and brace and breathe, literally just shut down in a span of like a week from each other. And
Wow.
only now am I starting to get relief. And this was a year-long problem. So I've been building my business and my coaching business at what I would say 45% of capacity as me as an actual fitness athlete.
Gotcha. And yeah, I remember you reaching out in those first couple months after you joined and being like, "Hey, Brandon, like, is there a way that I can stay in the program longer, to be able to
Yeah.
utilize it? Because I haven't been able to utilize it because I've been so wrapped up with trying to deal with these health issues." And obviously, you're still in the program today. We've kept you in there, and it's been a pleasure to watch you continue to grow and stay consistent. And I think that you just giving a breakdown of your health issues that you've run into just kind of show how in tune you are, like with your own body, but also just like with the human body in general. And one thing that I've seen from you, Owen, time and time and again, is that you actually bring everybody else inside of Empire Blueprint up with you because you are constantly trying to learn more. You're constantly investing further in your education, literally trying to become like the most well rounded person of all time when it comes to knowledge on different subjects with nutrition, or whether it's gut microbiome or just kinesiology in general. You genuinely don't stop learning, and you've invested in J3 University, multiple of their different training certifications. And it's just been very, very encouraging to watch you sort of lead the group inside of Empire Blueprint with, like, hey guys, keep educating yourself, because I think so many people, they tend to fall off and they think like, oh, I kind of know how to help people lose fat, and so then they just stop. They stop getting better themselves, and what that does is it shoots them in the foot when it comes to their marketing, and it makes their entire business fall apart. Because if a coach is not growing, like, the coaching business is not going to grow. Like, it grows along with the actual mentor. And so could you speak a little bit on that, and just like how you stay so motivated to continue getting better and better, especially when your body is kind of revolting on you? I think a lot of people would really, really struggle to maintain um, good confidence. I think they would get crushed by the imposter syndrome when they see that their abs aren't as pronounced, or when they feel like their body is failing them and they're like, why me? Most of them will collapse in on themselves and be like, who am I to coach somebody else? But you've done nothing but just combat the imposter syndrome through learning more and ramping things up.
Yeah. I mean, you literally knocked it right on its head. I mean, we're both Christians. The only thing that kept me going was that eternal belief that this was going to get better and that I had to constantly grow. But it really, I always say when someone asks me about this, and how do I not have imposter syndrome, is I truly believe that what I went through was for a divine purpose, right? If I was never given these issues, if I was never just absolutely bewildered by my health in general, I would have had an ego to where, hey, look, I look sick, let me coach you for $5,000.
Yeah.
right? Like it's an ego thing. It's a pride thing. I think most coaches that get what they get wrong in this space is that their physique is better than whatever it is, and I'm going to make it a good coach. Like
Mm.
that may be good for Seabaum, that may be good for Phil Heath. Are you going to be those people? No. Especially with physique inflation these days, the physique
Mhm.
isn't anything because you need to be able to motivate and inspire, and most importantly, lead people in the right direction. So
Yeah.
during that time period, I took it as I have no excuse not to learn how to fix me, so I could fix other people. Right.
Yeah.
Through this entire journey, I have just developed an overall sense of how much goes into health, the nervous system, the gut, the just your nutrition and everything that like this take this at this specific time and this and that. Like having all of those certain assets plays such a bigger role into your actual health. Whereas like, let's give you this program and let's put you on this diet, it's going to work for you. You're very big into the mental health space and just overall motivation space as a leader as well. Those people that don't have that eternal switch, they're not going to do it if they just get thrown a blanket document. You need to be able to
Mhm.
lead, to inspire, to go through things and have that also sort of conviction and accountability that, hey, look, I may not know this right now, but I'm going to work my butt off for you and I'm going to help you do it and learn from it as well. So it
Yeah.
wasn't just like my health was just depleting. It was, I was blessed to be so down and it forced me to grow so I could still do what I love to do and help people and get people healthier, inspire and lead people just in a different direction than I had planned to by just looking cool and having an awesome physique. Because my physique has been the worst it's ever been in the last 3 years. But my
Mhm.
coaching prowess, my coaching education, my conviction in what I do and what I believe in and what I study in and how I can help grand scheme of people has prolonged me on that sense of journey and that sense of success. Like would I have thought a year ago that I would be coaching women? No, or know about the
Mhm.
menstrual cycle, or know about the physiology, or know about how the nervous system plays a big role, and how diaphragmatic bracing is the number one thing that you need to be able to fix in order to, mitigate your stress levels. Like, would I have known that? No, right? I would have been a cool looking dude, Alex Eubank, old days, prime Alex Eubank, flexing on the camera, and not actually be a coach that has conviction, education, and can also lead people to really great results.
I think that that's super important. Isn't it crazy how so many people don't realize that the thing that they think is like sabotaging their success is actually the key to their success. It's like the suffering as a coach that allows you to tap into the pain points of the client that you need to work with, and it allows you to go out and learn the things that are actually going to help benefit your clients. And I'll give you an example of that. Like I have been working with a ton of people on back pain lately. I'm starting
Mm-hmm.
to target an older demographic. And I know about this because I have 3 herniated discs. I have 2 in my lower back and I have 1 in my mid back that I just figured out, from a recent MRI. That in and of itself, the fact that I have struggled with that over the past 6 years, since I was
Mm-hmm.
19 and I herniated my disc, that gives me the ability to go out, and I had to fix my own problems. I put together all this different mobility routines and things along those lines, and now I've helped dozens and dozens of men go from being in like chronic pain to not being in pain at all. And it's the same with like my shoulder issues as well. Like I go and I develop these shoulder mobility routines and I make videos about it. And then I give those videos to my clients. I walk them through it. And it's just like that is your job as a coach. Your job is to have that like a a bountiful amount of experience and wisdom. And I think a lot of guys really, really struggle to lean into that when they're young because they
Mm-hmm.
feel like it just needs to like happen to them, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. But I think that there's very much an element of where you also go out and you seek that wisdom, you seek that education, and you've done that. It's not just the things that are happening to you and your bad health situations that have forced you to learn more, but you're going out and you're taking J3 University. You're taking the women's module. You're taking these classes on how to go about improving gut microbiome and decreasing stress levels. All these types of things. This is really what gives you that confidence to continue to move forward. And so I guess I'll pivot from that into a little bit more of the sales side of things. When you first came into Empire Blueprint, How are you lacking when it came to sales? And how do you feel like over the past year, you've transferred over into becoming a great salesman? What have the main realizations been on that front?
I always had some sense of potential in how I communicate. I'm a very sociable guy. I'm a very outgoing guy. I could talk to anybody, but I never really harnessed that in conviction of making sure that people know what this is and how to benefit and most importantly sign on to a program. And
Hmm.
the best part about it is with Empire is they took everything that was good, highlighted it, made it the
Hmm.
strong point so that the weak points were way more evident. And then all that we were tasked to do is to fix on the weak points and benefit the strengths. So,
Hmm.
for instance, my ability to talk to people was my strength. What did I need to do? My weakness was I talked too much. So improving the quality over how much I talk instead of the quantity of how much I talk was that little flip of perspective to really just convict people and make me myself as a better salesman, right? And I think also what Empire did really, really well was the constant feedback, recording the calls, giving the, try this out. Like it made so much sense for me as a person growing in sales to get reps and reps and reps and reps. And Empire gave every structure on how to achieve reps, but also to fine tune the reps to actually get a sale and become a better salesman. And most importantly, actually amplified the potential that they had in the specific person or the specific coach to then cancel out the weak points, strengthen the weak points, but also keep developing that potential. Because I remember
Hmm.
probably the first like 2 to 3 months where I was really starting to pick everything up is Empire really hold me accountable to lean on connection. I can connect with a
Hmm.
lot of people. I can resonate with a lot of people. I've been through a lot. So it wasn't so like, oh, you need to learn this specific sales tactic or this specific sales manipulation. Keen on what you're good at, fine tune the things that the actual skill of sales, because it's a skill, right? Just like weightlifting.
Yeah.
Like people think that you just need to go lift weights, but no, like bodybuilding and weightlifting is a skill. It's something that you develop and you adapt. Also having those consistent repetitions on what you're bad at, but also what you're good at, and leaning in on the potential of who you could be as a salesperson is what means the absolute most and how much I've developed in that regard.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And watching you grow on that front has been great. Like I feel like your charisma has really like taken things to the next level. I feel like you're much more pointed with how you talk as well and how you speak. You speak much more from a position of authority than when we first
Yeah.
started working together. And you
Oh
have a lot
yeah.
more of an idea of who you want to work with and the brand. And one thing I want to highlight, guys, about Owen is the fact that he recently, he made this $9,000 in a week. He made $10,000 last month, but he's been consistently putting up good numbers. He just hasn't crossed that $10,000 mark. He was putting up $6,000 to $8,000 for a very long, consistent period of time, and so this has been steady growth. This isn't just something that like came out of nowhere. He has been making good money off of this, but we are taking it to the point like where he is now making great money. And that is ultimately what we want to continue to work into. So now that you've sort of reached this point, are you somebody that's just gonna like throw in the towel and be like, all right, I hit the $10,000 per month mark. I'm just gonna kind of sit here. I mean, based off of the fact that you've done the $9,000 in the past week, I think that this question kind of answers itself. But I
Yeah.
see a lot of people that do that. They work up to the point where they get comfortable. They get a couple tens of thousands of dollars in their bank account, and then they're like, you know what? I'm just like not going to work. It's a very interesting mentality. It's one that I personally don't have, but I wanted to get your reaction to that.
No, that's what I actually love that you asked that because one of the best things that you've ever said on Empire was the duality of a business owner, how it's this like gradual, like it's not like it's a gradual like pit of just constantly improving, right? And I didn't really
Hmm.
realize like in part of the business, like I didn't really realize that until I started to like hit those very consistent months where like you almost become so passionate, obsessed, like, okay, I can improve in this, I can improve this, the sales needs to get better, the systems need to
Hmm.
get better, my scheduling needs to get better, this can improve in programming, this, that, like it's it's constant and it still keeps going and going and going. And it's a gradual increase. And to me, that I'm obviously not that kind of person to just say, oh, and quit it. Like I didn't even celebrate my first 10K month. I was just so
Mhm.
focused on, okay, all right, like what's this month? How can I improve this month? So much to a point where like some of my trusted family members and friends were like, yo, like you hit an insane goal. Like, can you celebrate it and relax for a second?
Yeah.
That's just kind of the guy that I am. You know what I mean? But with that being said, is to me, 10K now is the standard. You have to
Mhm.
have a floor. You have to have a floor for yourself that you know that you have to achieve, and you have to have those statistical goals and those roadmaps, because then you will force yourself to be put into position to hold that standard, right? I'm not one of those kind of guys that gradually, like, it's this mountain that I need to hit, right? It's the next pillar, it's the next pillar, it's the next pillar. That's all about scaling and how business should be. And most importantly, I've done that within my own personal development, and it just parlayed over to my business, right? You saw how my health was getting better, how it became more vocal, more communicative, much more authoritative. That gradual just came into the business aspect as well. And that same uptick mentality is just going to prolong on and on and on and on, right? Like you
Good.
saw, like you said before, like 9K in 10 days, I was like, I'm like numb to it because that's the standard now. Like that's what I expect. And I have this just as much as me as a conviction and a coach and my results that needs to be the standard, and everything else will then kind of, you know, institutionalize and just come into fruition because of that standard that you set.
I see a common theme with a lot of coaches who actually end up being able to stick this out and actually becoming successful. And I'll tell you kind of what that is. The common theme that I see is that their content almost becomes like a conviction to them. Like their content needs to become something that is so much more than marketing. It needs to become you saying, people need to hear this message. Even if I don't make any money at all, I would preach this message and try to help people, because that's essentially what 99% of your job is. I find it really funny. Guys will DM you, yeah, that you probably happens to you sometimes as well, but they'll DM you and they'll be like, hey, can I get coaching? And then you're like, yeah, like, of course you can apply here, and you do some sort of, price, just price check with them to make sure they're financially qualified. And they're like, oh, do I have to pay for this? And you're like, yeah, you have to pay for my coaching. And they're like, oh, well, like, why isn't it free? And it's so funny to me because 99% of the stuff that I make is free. I spend all day, 99% of my time, or the majority of my time, goes towards putting free content out there that
Yeah.
serves as free content to those people, but then it also serves as part of the marketing. And so once once the content that you put out there becomes like this mission, and you have this conviction and this devotion to the actual message that you're spreading, once it becomes more than just marketing, those are the people that actually make it. Those are the people that actually really become successful and actually have good long-term businesses, businesses that are actually going to last, versus
Yeah.
ones that just burn through leads, require ridiculous, heinous amounts of ad spend, have no customer loyalty, terrible reviews, and get shut down and replaced by ChatGPT. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I think that
Yeah.
that is a really big difference. And when I watch your content, I feel that energy, I feel that passion, and I can tell, like, hey, even if Owen were to make $0 next month, he would still be posting just as much. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And so I think that that type of like drive is what I would like to instill in just about everybody. But it's very difficult to do that. And you say that a lot of your conviction just comes from your Christianity, like from
Yeah.
your faith, and that's a beautiful thing. Is there any other recommendations that you have to people in terms of like finding that voice and that conviction?
Yeah. I think I legitimately, one of my best friends, that's not my best friend, told me this advice. It wasn't really advice. It was just like kind of like a read on character. He like almost, he said that you're like, I forgot exactly what the terminology was, but he said that like I'm like Kanye West. And he said that I'm like Kanye because I'm not very good at basketball and he's very good at basketball. And yet I will tell him again, I will kick your butt in basketball. I'll beat you one-on-one.
Hmm.
And he was like, you need to keep this because you have so high self-delusional belief, you will be
Hmm.
successful just because of that. Like
Yeah.
that's what you have to have. That's the kind of mentality that you have to have. That's what you have to constantly believe in. But also you kind of have to like gaslight yourself into like being successful because there's I mean, we're Christians. We face with so much just temptation up here all the time, right?
Hmm.
That voice in your head is always going to be there, regardless if you make
Yeah.
100K a month, 10K a month, 2K a month, 1K a month, negative a month, right? It's always going to be there. What that switch and that drive is you have to have so much self-delusional belief in
Yeah.
you and in your product, and then you will start to do everything that a person like that is going to do that. One of the best advices I've ever heard as well is to romanticize your life because like you said, it
Mm.
was a gradual thing. I was hitting
Yep.
5K months consistently, 6K, 7K consistently, and it just grew and grew and grew and grew. And now it's like, very expanding. That's only because I had so much self-delusional belief and so
Mm.
much conviction that it was going to get to a point, and I just kept going and going and
Mm.
going and going because I started to, even if I wasn't already, I started to act like a fitness coach that made 10K a month. I started to
Yeah.
act like my product was worth X amount of dollars. I had so much
Yeah.
internal self delusional belief that it was actually worth it. I was actually this. And then now here I am living my absolute dream, 25 clients, highest month, expanding, expanding, expanding. Because I legitimately romanticize that, like, yo, I'm a fitness coach and you can't tell me effing anyways. Like
Yeah.
you can't tell that from me. You know what I mean?
And I think that the most important part of that component that a lot of people miss is the fact that it's not just this delusional belief, but it's how you respond when that belief is like shit on, or when
Yes.
that belief is almost like disproven. Because
Yes.
what people will do is they'll be like, "Oh, okay, delusional self-belief. All right, I'm going to start saying I'm the best basketball player in the world. I'm the best basketball player in the world." And then they're
Yeah.
going to go play their buddy in pickup, and their buddy is going to smoke them because their buddy's
Right.
better. And then they go, "Oh, it didn't work. It didn't work." Instead of saying, "Hey, I'm just going to be better next time. I'm going to keep
Yeah.
going. I'm literally going to be better." It's just the continuation of that belief. And that's what makes it not delusional. Like, is the fact that you don't give up. You keep progressing. You continue getting better every single day. And it's like, how do you react when the hard times come? How do you react when that belief is when that belief is tested? Do you use it as a time to like double down and explain like, hey, this is why I am so good. This
Mhm.
stress is what makes me who I am. Or do you use that to invalidate yourself in your own mind and crumble? And those are like the two different types of people, the people that make it and the people that don't. And I think that what you've outlined right there is like the main crucial difference.
The amount of times that I have lost thousands of dollars because I couldn't set up a link properly, or I was
Hmm.
a minute late, or some sort of system error, or the amount of like, there was a month, I think it was in February, where my close rate was like 20%.
Hmm.
10 calls and like, less than, one or two sales, whatever it was. And I kept getting rejected and rejected and rejected. And I kept stuttering and I kept, freaking out and speaking when price was dropped, like all these sorts of things. The amount of times that I've just like lost potential and been so like at bottom of, is this going to work out? The only thing that kept me there was that delusional self-belief and that perseverance that like, this is going to happen. I don't care what I have to do to get through that. It's going to happen and I'm going to make it happen regardless of the amount of persecution or just failure that I have. Because to
Hmm.
me, failure, the only way for you to fail is for you. And I tell this to my clients all the time. The only way for you to fail is for you to just stop trying,
Yeah.
because failure, trying is a part of failure. Fail, it's all connection, right? Success. You know how many times people have failed that are successful? The only difference between people that are successful and not successful are how many times that you fail, you learn, adapt, and you just keep doing it over
Hmm.
and over over and over. And it's the same thing in fitness. They're all correlated, right? These are why spiritual and finances and business are all so correlated, because they're the same properties. Do you give up when it gets hard? Are you willing to be humble and keep progressing and keep moving forward?
Yep. I love it, Owen. Well, thanks for coming on, man. That was
Yeah, dude.
fantastic. And I wanted to, catch that bit of energy, that's coming along with the amount of momentum that you had lately. And
Yeah, man.
we timed it right. I was worried because I was traveling, in Hawaii the past week. And I was worried that, maybe things would slow down a little bit and you wouldn't be quite as energetic. But then you went and you almost hit
Nah.
$10,000 in a week. So this was perfectly timed. I'm really
Yeah,
excited to
man.
continue to watch you grow. I hope that your story inspires some other fitness coaches watching this. If any of you are watching this and you're interested in joining Empire Blueprint, make sure to hit that link and apply down below, because it is well worth your time. It's really worth it to have a community of other guys like Owen. You'll see him in there, uplifting the group and really, really just continuing to pursue that dream of having locational freedom, doing what you want, not answering to a boss, and having a fitness coaching business that prints for you every single month. So thank you very much for joining on, Owen. Great to have you in here, and maybe we'll have another one of these a year or so from now and see where you're at.
I think so. I think that's where we're headed.
I love it, man. Thanks for popping in, brother. See ya.
Yeah, brother. See ya.